What is going on, people? This is the end of KvK, which I have come to kinda love and hate at the same time, because at the end of the day, it's pretty much just a rock, paper, scissors, did you guess correctly type of thing. So it can be a little tricky to get the right call, but when you do, it is great. Now, here's the problem with that whole thing. I seem to never get the call right. Okay, like if I go cavalry, somebody's gonna be sending range. If I go range, somebody's gonna be sending infantry, and so on and so forth. So eventually, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep picking the same one over and over and over until I finally hit the jackpot and quote unquote pick correctly. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do at the end of KvK, okay? Especially if you're going for one of the forts, or hell, maybe even the base. Now, for us, we didn't really have too many different options because there is a lot of family guilds in the same kingdom, and they were all pretty much dominating all the forts in like all the kingdoms. So this is the only kingdom that had forts that other guilds were taking. So that's the ones that we went for. But because since it was a different kingdom, it was kind of useless to go for the base, because if you're a conqueror instead of an overlord, and by the way, you're considered a conqueror if you're the overlord of a kingdom while you're not in that kingdom. But either way, if you're a conqueror of a kingdom, you can't assign titles, you can't give out the gifts, you basically can do nothing. So going for the base was an absolute waste, so we didn't even worry about that. We focus on the forts because those buffs are nice. And here's a couple of things that you can do. You can decide to defend a fort, which is hands down probably the worst one you can do, because not only will you be taking a blast, which is hard to defend unless you are a very, very, very strong account, or you're going to be taking multiple rallies. So defending the fort itself is probably not the way to go. Now, what you could also do is what most people do. Reset the fort, that way you can have a rally on it and then hit it at the very last second and just wait for the RNG, the rock, paper, scissors type of thing. And that's what most of us kind of decided to do, but there was a couple that didn't do that. Like DHS was holding Bright, and I believe they were holding Bright with only like just a little over 1 million troops. And I don't know if they were trying to defend it or if the guy was just offline, which, by the way, if you're holding a fort in KvK, please don't ever go offline. There's oh my god, I've had stories regarding that. But either way, if you are rallying one of these forts and there is nobody else challenging you for it, you might as well just launch early, get that nice buff, because it could help another one of the rallies. Now on this one, I was going infantry, and Solid Joker was going to be rallying a fort that's going to give us a cavalry boost. So even though it's not going to help me, it's just like a general tip, because Bright Fort was not being rallied by anybody else. So it was pretty much a free fort because there was only 1 million in there. So if you take a look at this hit right here, they only had 1 million in there. So I'm just so confused as to what was the thinking. I'm fairly sure that the dude was just offline. Now, another thing that I love to do is, not only is it good to know your timing, meaning your walking speed. I mean, that's pretty much a requirement. But what I actually like to do is I go into another emulator, usually like the bank or whatever, and I go to the fort that I'm in and I track the timing from that emulator. While in this emulator, what I do is I just sit here in the coalition screen in order to release when I needed to. Now on this one, I could afford being a couple of seconds early, so I released a bit early, just because I just saw that there was only one person that was rallying the fort. So it was either doesn't matter, I was gonna hit one person, right? So I released a couple of seconds early, but I was completely fine with that because Looty Queen was the only one that I was gonna go against. Or so I thought, okay? I see her marching, and I'm like, okay, I'm almost certain that they're going to go ranged, but what are the chances? So I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to see, and then I hit the fort, and then I check, and I see another one coming out of nowhere, and I'm like, what the? There was another one that was being carpeted into, so not only did I take one, I take two freaking rallies. Finally, the curse has been broken. Usually, I'm the one doing the the bending over for other people to hit, but this time around, I'm able to take both rallies, and both of them were ranged into my infantry. Oh, you love to see it. Look at that. Wolfpack was the one that zoomed it in at the last second. He thought now, if I was cavalry, that would have been bad. That would have been bad. But either way, I was able to take this one. That one was a fairly full rally. It wasn't full, but it was fairly full. And then, of course, the other rally that we had was with Good King, and he absolutely demolished UIT, but they did not have a full rally as well, and they also had mixed. That's also one thing you should never do. Don't attack with mix, okay? And then Ludi Queen, like I mentioned, I almost captured because that rally was nowhere near full. But here's a little here's a little thing. I went back and took a look at it, and for some reason, get this. For some reason, when I set my talents, I set my talents to freaking range. Yeah, ranged talents in an infantry rally. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I don't know if I was just focusing on the timers or what happened, or I don't know. But if I would have been on infantry talents, I might have capped one or both. I'm not sure. Yeah, and I actually caught it because after that, when I went to change my talents, I was like, why is there a range attack in this? And then I scrolled all the way down, and I had nothing for infantry. So literally, that was me taking both of those rallies with pretty much no talents, because what's range talents gonna do for me there? Anyway, it literally was gonna do nothing. But anyway, this KvK was kind of weird because at the beginning, like the first 14 or 16 hours, I want to say, I had no leader. And I was pretty much not able to do anything except maybe join a fort here and there or a rally. And then after I finally got my leader back, I almost got capped, but Helldrider was able to save me. But I finally get the last laugh in the end. And that little curse of me always being countered is finally gone. So we got the 3 forts that we set the rallies in. And we're looking good. By the way, we are going to be recruiting right after Guild Fest. So if you're looking for a guild, look into us. But yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. And until later, bye.